Hello, welcome to Gurukul's CAT 100 series, a series that's designed specifically to take you from your study room to the corporate boardroom. I am Prady Sharma and this is Verbal Mastery with Prady. Hello guys, and welcome back to another video on the Verbal Mastery with Prady 2 series, a series that's designed to specifically take you from your study room to the corporate boardroom. Okay, so this is 100 Days to CAT powered by the Gurukul. Now, we've come back with another passage. In case you want to write this passage as a test, then you can obviously go to www.thegurukul.org.in, okay, and just register for the 100 Days to CAT test series. Okay, rest assured, this is a completely free test series for all of you where we upload 100 tests of quant, verbal and LRDI for the 100 days of your CAT prep, just to keep you consistent and help you succeed in the CAT 2025. So let's crack it together. Now, in case you don't want to take this as a test right now, you just want to follow along with this video, that's completely fine. In that case, all you've got to do is pause when I ask you to pause the video, read the passage, attempt the questions, comment your answers in the comment box below, and then we'll go into the passage explanation and the question explanation in detail. Okay, so for today's passage, let's start off with the paragraph number 1. Pause your video here, take a minute, read down this paragraph, jot down all the important points, and then we're going to go into the next part. So pause the video. Okay, so this is your paragraph number 2. Write down all the important points from this and then we'll go into the paragraph number 3. So pause the video. Alright, so this is paragraph number 3. Now, jot down all the important points from this paragraph and then we'll go into the questions of this passage. Pause the video here. Okay, so question number 1. Alright, take 1.5 minutes guys, no cheating, put on that timer, comment your answer below once you're done. Pause the video. Question number 2 guys, again 1.5 minutes, no cheating, comment your answers below, pause the video. Alright guys, so question number 3, take 1.5 minutes, pause the video. Question number 4 guys, take 1.5 minutes, no cheating, comment your answers below, and then we're gonna go into the questions and the passage explanations. Pause the video here. So for the first paragraph, daydreaming is one of the life's greatest joys. You can indulge in it whenever you're stuck in a boring meeting or a long queue. This seemingly innocuous pastime, guys, so the meaning of the word innocuous is harmless. Okay, so in case you did not know that, please note it down. Okay, so innocuous pastime, however, is a double-edged sword. Now, what is a double-edged sword? That means it cuts both ways. Okay, a double-edged sword cuts both ways. That means it gives you benefit, but it also has drawbacks. Okay, so clearly from this part of the passage itself, we can say that maybe the passage is going to talk about the daydreaming, okay, in the sense that it will talk about both advantages and disadvantages. So this is what I can say from this part of the passage. So some research has found that it boosts creativity as we've thought. So first he's talking about the advantages. What are these advantages? One is that it's boosting creativity. That means it's increasing creativity, right? Okay. But other studies suggest that it's bad for your mental health and could lower your intelligence. Okay. So the disadvantage is that it could lower your intelligence. So I've just written IQ. Okay, so in a study conducted by psychologists at the University of California, Santa Barbara, it doesn't matter where they've done that. Okay, undergrad students were asked to come up with as many uses for everyday subjects. So what are they doing? They're basically conducting a study, and now probably in the passage he'll talk to us about the study and what the results of the study are. Okay, so students were asked to come up with as many uses for everyday objects such as toothpicks, cloth hangers and bricks. Okay, so they were told that, okay, I'll tell you about a hanger, cloth hanger. Tell me what are all the uses that you can, or how can you use it. Okay, as they could come in 2 minutes, then take a 12-minute break and then repeat the exercise. So basically what is the nature of this study? First, let's break it down. So for the first 2 minutes, you have to tell me as many uses of these objects, then take a 12 minutes break, and then again in 2 minutes you have to tell me as many uses of these objects. So this is how the study was planned. Okay, the students were able to generate more creative uses for the objects the second time around. That means results were better here. Okay, right. So second time around, if their break involved completing an undemanding task. So results were better if this break was used for an undemanding task. Okay, that means a simple task, something that does not require the use of your brain so much. Unlike this video. So this video requires you to use your brain. So pay attention, guys. We're gonna crack CAT this time for sure. Okay, which is known to promote more daydreaming. So this undemanding task, okay, promotes daydreaming. Right, so once this undemanding task was taken up and daydreaming was promoted, this resulted to better results, okay, compared to a break filled with more attention demanding tasks known to reduce daydreaming. Okay, so now results were bad if you had a more more attention demanding task. So attention demanding tasks could be like doing multiplications, doing additions, anything that requires you to focus too much on that task. Okay, now let's move forward. Daydreaming has also been linked with feeling socially connected. So again, we have another linkage over here for daydreaming, and that is with social connection. Okay, so in a study conducted by the University of Sheffield, some other university, okay, so a group of participants were induced to feel lonely. That means they were made to feel lonely. In this context, induced can be thought of as made to. All right. So afterwards, they were instructed to either daydream about someone special, daydream about a non-social situation, or complete a mentally demanding task. So they were given 3 options, guys. So what were these options? First one, think about someone special like your partner, your best friend, or anyone. Okay, and then second choice was daydream about a non-social situation. So any random situation, but without involving people. Okay, and the third one was complete a mentally demanding task. For mentally demanding task, maybe you can think of like doing math problems or something of that sort. So those who daydreamed about someone special demonstrated, that means they showed. Okay, in this context, demonstrated means showed. All right, they showed significantly increased feelings of connection, love and belonging compared to the other 2 groups. So what does this mean? This means that people who thought of their partners or people who thought of someone special, they showed more feelings of love and belongingness, okay, when they were made to feel lonely initially. Yes, so what did this indicate? Again, indicating means resulting in, or the result is being shown over here. Okay, that daydreaming serves as the function of keeping us connected to our loved ones even in their absence. That means even when our loved ones are not present with us, if we daydream about them, that means if we just try to remember them, we feel more connected and we feel more loved. Okay, now one of the downsides of daydreaming is that it can get in the way of learning. Obviously, yeah, when we're reading the passage and all, also we sometimes, just drift off into that far off land, into the beautiful lush campus of IIMs, where we think, okay, I'm reading this passage now, but then soon I'll be, giving CAT exam. In CAT I'll get 99 percentile, and then I'll be in IMA. Wake up. So what's happening over here is daydreaming, and that is wrong. That's bad for one reason. Why? Because if the attention is diverted away, diverted means taken away. In this context, you can just think it of as taken away. Guys, look, I'm not giving you the actual meaning. I'm just talking to you about the contextual meanings of these words, okay? So if the attention is diverted away from words on the page and directed to the content of the daydream, retrieving, that means bringing back. Okay, retrieving means bringing back. Right, so retrieving information can be seriously affected. Considering reading and understanding is one of the main ways in which educational success is measured. That means how successful you are educationally depends on your reading and understanding things. That's why you're doing RCs, right? That's why you're doing reading comprehension passages. Okay, CAT examiner is asking you all this for a reason. Correct? Okay, so daydreaming can come at a high price. Other studies have found that daydreaming is associated with poor performance on tests of general intelligence and memory capacity. That means what? People who daydream. Now we get 2 main nice ideas from this part of the passage. First idea is that people who daydream, let me just call it DD. One is that they feel more socially connected. Okay, so this is one benefit. Let me just put a square off here. And the second one, okay, let me put a, what do you call this, diamond, okay, to show the disadvantage. So the disadvantage is that they have reduced what? They have poorer performance on tests of general intelligence and memory capacity. So they have reduced performance on tests of IQ and memory. Right, so let's move forward. Now that we've understood this part of the passage also, let's go to the last part of the passage. Not only can daydreaming mess up your chance of doing well in exams, it can also mess with your mental health. That means not only your education but also your mental health. Obviously, yaar, agar aap अच्छे से पढ़ोगे लिखोगे, if you don't get into good colleges and all, it will be a burden on your mental health, right? You will still want to go there but you're not able to go there, right? So anyways, so researchers at Harvard University, again, it doesn't matter which university, used an app to monitor thoughts, feelings and activities of 2,250 adults in the US. Okay, so again they did another experiment. So this part I can think of another experiment. So don't pay too much heed to this. Read what did you find out from the experiment. That's important, right? So they found that daydreaming about pleasant topics added nothing to the participants' level of happiness. And when they daydreamed about neutral or negative topics, they became more unhappy. Now this is an important idea. So what do I understand? DD or daydreaming about pleasant topics, there is no happiness. Okay. However, if they did about unpleasant topics or neutral topics, right, they were definitely unhappy. Yes, now this is a very major idea in this passage, guys. So it also appears that wandering mind causes unhappiness rather than unhappiness leading to a wandering mind. That means just because you're unhappy, you're not daydreaming. You're daydreaming and that is causing you unhappiness. So this cause and effect relationship is very important over here. Some psychologists have suggested that how people evaluate their daydreaming may help to explain the link with unhappiness. So how are they thinking about their daydreaming is also explaining about their unhappiness, right? So when people believe their daydreaming is either uncontrollable or bad for them, these beliefs appear to be significantly influence. Appear to significantly influence the relationship between daydreaming and unhappiness. So what is he saying? If people think that daydreaming, okay, or whatever they've daydreamt about is bad, then they definitely feel unhappy, or their chance of feeling unhappy increase. The ability to gain control of thinking and sustain focus on the present is considered the antidote to problematic daydreaming. So how do I stop this daydreaming? Okay, so how do I do that? The way is to, here he has given, right? Yes. Gain control of thinking and sustain focus. So gain control of thinking plus sustain focus. So this is what we've got to do. Mindfulness is one of the techniques that some people find helpful. Mindfulness helps people to bring their minds back to the present moment and is associated with improving reading comprehension and memory capacity. So how do I do this? One of the ways is by practicing mindfulness. So that is one thing. Okay. Yes, maybe we should all try and be in the present moment a little bit more. We might be a lot happier as a result. So what's he indirectly saying? He's indirectly saying that yes, you daydreaming about positive things is not going to bring you happiness. But if you daydream about something unpleasant, it's definitely going to make you unhappy. Right? So if you do not daydream, it's overall a much better thing for us to do. Okay, now that we've understood the passage, let's quickly get into the question. The author is likely to agree. Okay guys, so to agree, likely to agree, that means which of these things should be in the passage or something related to what he has said in the passage. All the following statements except. Now this except means what? Yahan pe likely to agree hai, yahan pe except hai. That means what? Not agree. Okay, so which of the following is the author not going to agree with? The advantages of daydreaming are relatively fewer than the disadvantages. Obviously, he's told us about one advantage and he's told us about 3 disadvantages. So this the passage is telling us. So the author will agree to this. So this will not become our answer. The costs of daydreaming are both emotional and cognitive. Yes, again, there are emotional costs and there are cognitive costs, mental costs. Okay, so obviously this also will not be our answer. What are the emotional costs? Dreaming about positive things, not giving us anything. Dreaming about negative things, giving us unhappiness. Daydreaming causes unhappiness regardless of whether it's about pleasant, neutral or negative topics. Now yes, he has told us that when we think about pleasant topics, we may not get happiness. That means there's a chance that we might be unhappy. And obviously when we are thinking about unpleasant topics, we will definitely get unhappy. So this can be agreed by the author. So this also won't be our correct answer. Now the last one, daydreaming is more prevalent among people with poor mental health or poor memory. Now see, what we can actually think about over here is that people who are daydreaming, they will have poor memory. Not the other way around. It's not that, just because, so think about it like this. If these are the people who are poor mental health and these are the people who have poor memory, I cannot say that daydreaming is more amongst these. Okay, instead I can say that if these are the people who are daydreaming, then these people may have poor mental health and poor memory. Okay, so this cannot be inferred, this can be inferred, right? So the author may not agree with D. So our correct answer should be D. Now, second one, the primary purpose of the passage is to spread awareness about the benefits of mindfulness. No, see guys, this is what we call as a partial scope choice. Right, so there's only very limited chance of this because this came towards the very ending of the passage, right? Highlight the dim side of daydreaming and suggest a countermeasure. Makes sense. He has told us about the dim side. That means the dark side of daydreaming or the bad side of daydreaming. And then he has suggested a countermeasure. What was this countermeasure? This countermeasure was mindfulness. So this could very well be the answer if there's not a better option. Present the pros and cons of daydreaming and point out that daydreaming is largely beneficial. Where is the point coming about it being largely beneficial? So my dear friends, this is not going to be the answer. Why? Because this is something we call as an opposite answer. Okay, he's used the right keywords but the wrong inference, right? Draw attention to the fact that people's evaluation of their daydreaming as either uncontrollable or bad rather than the daydreaming itself causes unhappiness. Again, this is also a very partial scope answer. Okay, this is just one of the ideas in the passage and not the entire idea of the passage, not the primary purpose why the author is telling all this. So now clearly in all of these, definitely B is the best option. So B will be our correct answer. Moving to the third question. The passage implies which of the following about mindfulness. So mindfulness gurinchi em chepparu. What did they tell about mindfulness? Cultivating mindfulness helps improve certain cognitive functions. Again, this is a little too broad. Okay. So this is too broad. Obviously, this has been told about mindfulness. Okay, where these certain cognitive functions could be nothing but your memory and gaining control. Okay, of situation, but again, this is a little too broad. So let's look at the other options. If nothing else fits perfectly, then we'll go for A. Okay, so I'll just take this off for now. We'll look at all the other options and then we'll see. Mindfulness helps people bring their minds back to the present moment and be a lot happier. Now see, obviously he did say over here, yes, maybe we should all try and be in the present moment a little bit more. We might be a lot happier as a result. Okay, so if we are looking at this, yes, mindfulness brings back people and be a lot happier. This is a certainty, right? But this certainty has not been asserted in the passage. The certainty has been not stated in the passage. So again, we can keep this aside. This might not be the best answer. Mindfulness helps people counter the negative aspects of daydreaming while retaining its positive side. Nowhere have we said that we will retain the positive side, so we can clearly eliminate C. Mindfulness is a technique to counter problematic daydreaming permanently. Wow, kya baat hai? What did he say? Permanently, where did this permanently even come from? So obviously this is not our answer. Okay, and since he's saying be a lot happier, this won't be our answer either. So out of these four, the best suitable answer was what we thought was going to become too broad. But no, out of these four options, this is the best option. So our answer is going to be A. Now, last question, which of the following can be most reasonably inferred from the passage regarding the relationship between happiness and mind wandering? What do we already know? Let's actually put that down. A wandering mind, okay, causes unhappiness. This is the relationship in the passage, correct? So now let's see what or which of these options actually respond to what we already know. Daydreaming about negative topics is the sole cause of unhappiness. This is a very extreme answer because he says this is the sole cause. Right, that's not been stated in the passage like that, correct? So this is something we call as an extreme answer. So let's just remove this. Adults who are generally unhappy tend to engage in more mind wandering as a coping mechanism. Again, this is the opposite. See, we know that if this happens, then this happens. Not the other way around, right? It's not that if you are unhappy, you're daydreaming. No. So this relationship is wrong. So B is the opposite. So we can take B off. The perception of one's daydreaming rather than its content alone significantly mediates the effect on its happiness. Now this is so far a bit being told in the passage, so we can keep this option aside. Let's look in the lost option. If that's not suiting, then we'll go for the C option. Engaging in pleasant daydreams is a neutral activity that neither increases nor decreases overall happiness levels. Now this is very, very definite. Right? Since this is extremely definite, we cannot take this, because in the passage, what did he tell us? He told us that even if we are focusing on something pleasant, okay, we may not be able to experience happiness, right? So when he says that engaging in pleasant daydreams is a neutral activity that neither increases nor decreases overall happiness, this is not true. Right, this is not true. So D is removed. Now look at C again. The perception of one's daydreaming. That means how we think about daydreaming, how we think about what we have dreamt, okay? Rather than its content alone, not what we have dreamt, but how we have or how we think we have dreamt, makes the significant thing on happiness, significantly mediates, that means significantly influences our happiness. So this is being told in the passage. So this is a possible or reasonable inference that we can derive. So C should be our correct answer. Alright guys.
Hope you enjoyed learning from today's session.
This series is designed to help you with your CAT preparation and practice daily. We are with you in this journey.
To watch the next video, click here. And to watch Gurukul's CAT 100 series, study room to boardroom, the entire playlist, click here.
If you learned from today's session, like, share, and subscribe.